It is storming outside, you guys, out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, it just came out of the blue. I was on the phone with my brother and he said, "It's raining over here." So I kind of figured it was moving my way. I'm just hoping that it doesn't knock out the power before I get this vlog done. Another wonderful quick capture, okay? This is a video response to, excuse me, my video from my main channel entitled "Why Gay Pride?" with three question marks. And I did a video in regards to this particular video on this channel earlier today. You can check that out if you want. It's linked in my original video. And I was just covering the, what I had seen thus far. And that's sort of what this is. It's another recap video. Um, Excuse me again. I'm not going to get into the stuff that I got into the other video, but let me just say, it is a mess over there. It is a mess. You've got everything from the supporters of it that say yes, equal rights for everyone across the board, which for me is the whole thing of it's the whole point of the video. And then you have some people that are going off topic. I've had an argument with a guy who I can't remember exactly how it started, but it ended up getting into HIV and how many gay men were infected with HIV, and which I totally thought was off topic. It really had nothing to do with what the video was about, so I didn't get into that with him. I could have, but I didn't. Um, you have a lot of people over there that understand the message of the video. Thank you for those guys that understand what the video was about, because the video wasn't about we're queer, we're here, deal with it. It wasn't the point of the video. The point of the video was to show that everyone should be allowed to live a happy life, and have the same rights. That's the point of the video. People should stand up and fight for fight for themselves when they're being treated wrongly. I thought it was pretty clear, but apparently I needed some interpretation somewhere in there, so I threw a few annotations up in the video. But I also found it very odd that a lot of people they're um, they're kind of acting the way I would have 2 years ago about gay pride. They're where I was, and I can't really wrong them for that, because I think that it took me a long time to get out of that. When I saw Gina's, I believe her name is Gina, Italian Stallionette's video, um, it finally snapped, kicked on something in my head, and helped me to see another side of it. And I did some more research, and I came to the conclusion that what I thought it was all about, I have to understand that um, it's not always about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You know, that as an individual person, even though I'm contributing to the group, each individual person has to bring something to the table. And for me to want to censor other people in the community, in the gay community, because I don't like what they're doing, is no different from the straight community or the heterosexual community trying to stop us from having equal rights. So we have to understand that as a gay community, we have to understand that just because, like, I don't like Chris Crocker. I don't like what he does. I don't like what he's about. I don't like the people that have been inspired by him, because they all seem to do the same obnoxious stuff. But at the same time, he has the right to do it. And I would never want to take that right away. If he wants to get up there and make a fool of himself, then so be it. The point is that those are just small pieces of the community. Those are small parts of what makes the whole, and each person has to bring what they have to the table, and hopefully that will influence someone somewhere down the road. A lot of things that people are missing is that Pride events also offer a lot of information. The spectacles and the parades and the people they see that are acting crazy on camera, or the pictures of the big drag queens and stuff. That isn't what goes on the entire time. When I used to go to Pride events all the time, when I was much younger, there are booths set up with all kinds of help for people with conditions such as the ones that people were trying to accuse gay people of having, the most promiscuous activities, when it comes to sex and contracting HIV and AIDS. They have booths set up for that, for people that are in that situation. As far as it being related to drug use, I think drugs were probably prevalent before Pride events ever happened. Drug use happens in a lot of different communities, not just the gay community. So to assume that the Pride events somehow inspire mass drug use more than something else is ridiculous. As far as sex goes, sex is sex. It's going to happen. Even if you stop having the pride events, I don't think it's going to, keep people from having sex. So I think that's a pretty foolish statement as well. I've covered a lot of this in my other video, so I don't want to dive too deep into it. But another person on the video commented about, and I kind of knew this was going to happen. I don't think gay people should be allowed to be married because marriage and civil unions are two different things. Of course they are. That's the whole point. Equal rights. Equal, as in the same. Do I think unions are a good step in the right direction? Yeah, I think it's a step, and I do think that it's a positive step. A little positive, just a tiny bit, but still positive. And her reasoning for gay people not allowing to be married is because they can't reproduce, they can't have kids. So my response to that was, well, what about the straight couples out there that they can't have children, that are unable to have kids? My aunt was unable to have kids, completely unable to have children. There wasn't even like a way to go in and, you know, what is it, artificially inseminate to have kids. I mean, she was just unable to have kids. Does that mean she shouldn't have the right to marry? She shouldn't have the same rights as all the other heterosexuals because she's unable to have kids? Um, I just thought it was a pretty foolish statement. There's a lot of straight couples out there that are unable to have kids that adopt as well. I'm not even going to get into gay adoption rights because that's a completely different situation. But as far as marriage goes, you want to get into it into a religious standpoint. There's a lot of other religions beside Christianity that have marriage. So it's not just a Christian thing, so you can't even go that route. Um, Also, atheists can get married legally because it is a legal binding contract, which is why I think the confusion between religion and the country itself, the politics and all the red tape. Um, it's called equal rights. Yes, people. I understand that there's a huge portion of the country that was built, with the backbone of Christianity. Um, at least I've been told. I didn't live during that time period, so I'm just going with what I've been told. Uh, it's all over our money and things like that, and I'm not against that. I believe that it is what it is. But at the same time, just because you're not a Christian doesn't mean that you shouldn't be allowed equal rights. Just because you don't believe in the same stuff that's in the Old Testament or the New Testament doesn't mean that you shouldn't have equal rights. Um, that's all really what it boils down to, is that everyone should be allowed the equal opportunity in life to do what they want to do. And all these people that are coming out and saying, I don't think so, I don't understand. I can't imagine, even though I don't agree with a lot of people's choices in life, even though I don't agree with a lot of things like the color car you might have or the kind of people you choose to date, thin people, chubby people, dark hair, blonde hair. Um, Again, all those choices are made by a person who should still have the same rights as me, and I should have the same rights as them. When somebody goes to court and they're a defendant, whether they're guilty or they're innocent, they have the same rights. Whether they're Christian, atheist, Muslim, whatever, they have the same rights. If you are in this country, you should have the same rights. No questions. No different labels. No weird wording. No people beating down doors and picketing people's houses because they choose to love who they choose to love. If two consenting adults decide that they want to be together, then that should be the end of it. Period. And they should have the same rights as everyone else. And I'm sure I'll have to do another video response to this, but this is it for now. So before my power cuts out because it is still thundering and lightning, I'm going to say keep it moving.